Today's Coaching Coordinator podcast is from Lawrence First and Goal Clinic in 2021, a clinic that I had the privilege of moderating. And we are putting together that lineup for the 2022 clinic. You could see that at lfgf2022.coachesclinic.com. It's going to be another great clinic that benefits a great cause, supports the Lawrence First and Goal Foundation, which benefits pediatric brain tumor research and cancer services. In this episode, Artistotle Thompson, who's the running backs coach at Cal, talks about how he builds the culture in his position room. I think this is one that applies to every position, not just running backs. So let's take a listen to this one from Artistotle Thompson.
As we get started here, what I want to talk about initially, I know some guys are, think we'll get some X and O stuff, which we will. I think that before we get to the X and O stuff, I want to make sure I talk about the culture of my room, the culture of building the room the way you want it to be. And I think there's some things that you work through to get it how you want it. I don't think it's ever right from the get-go, this is how I want it. And I think that it's something that you continue to build on to get your room the way you want it to get your position group the way you want it to get your team the way you want it to. And one of the things that I did prior to coming here and then after I got here as well is took some time to make sure that we knew the history of this place before coming in, because a big part of going into a program, big part of coming into a place and trying to be who you are, wanting to be who you are, right? Never trying to show that you're something that you're not, was knowing who the people that played here before and who are the legends, the guys who laid the foundation for what this place is about. So, talking to former coaches, talking to former players about the young men here and the way that things were, it matched up for the mindset that I wanted to bring to the room, which is why it made it that much more intriguing to work with the guys that I work with. And as we got here, we started to talk about and talk with these guys, the Marshawn Lynch's, the Justin Forsets, the Shane Brings, the Javid Best, talking with those guys or people that are close to them about their time here and about what the room looked like and about how the room felt, right? The feel of the room when you walk into it, and I was blessed my first year to have CJ Anderson come back and volunteer, and kind of have him sit back and kind of be a fly on the wall and say, okay, hey, I think this is the way that things are trending. I think they're trending well. I think they're going in the direction we needed to, so, and understanding the way that these guys worked and the standard that they upheld, right? We all talk about room standards. Well, when you got this type of group of guys, like I said, Marshawn Lynch, Javid Best, CJ Anderson, Justin Forsett, Shane Vereen, these type of guys are going to the pros that have been here. You want to push that to the room. Not saying they have to be those guys, but there is a standard, and I think one of the biggest things that I learned from all of this and talking to these former players and their coaches was not them just going to the NFL, but how many of them either played in Super Bowls or won Super Bowls. You got Super Bowl champions. So to show the fortitude, the mental toughness, the strength to make it through that NFL season to get to a Super Bowl and then win the thing. We're talking, upwards, if you were a wild card team, talking upwards of 20 games, right? So I think those are some things that we will press with here. We continue to press with here to let guys know that the sacrifices that you make on a daily basis will give you a chance to get there, So some of the things with me, I'm not going to go and read this thing verbatim. Guys, don't worry about it. This is here is kind of a placeholder for you, But some of the things I think that you have to look at when you're talking about, the culture of your position group, the culture of your room, you have your core values, right? Those everyday things that build who you are, those catchphrases, those pitch words that you guys have, but those values, I don't think change, right? I think that's the biggest thing, is that those values don't change based on the players that you have in the room, which is why I went back and talked to some of those former players, right? To make sure that who I am and what I was doing was matching up. What they did was matching up, and who they were was matching up, because I want those alum to come back. I want them to be the CJ Andersons, being in the room and talking to me and helping me grow in my knowledge of the University of California and the Cal running backs. So no matter when, it's that whole tradition never graduates. Those values, those behaviors, those things stay congruent to the place. That's what makes the place special. That and the people who are able to uphold those. And some of these other things, being involved in the community. I'm gonna jump down here a little bit, but being involved in the community and understanding giving back. That we're going to be active. Obviously, in a non-COVID year, we'll be out there in the community, embracing those people to let them know that we're all in to the area. It's not just what we're doing on the football field, but we're all in to the area. There's a couple other in here. Again, I'm not going to read all these verbatim, guys. If you guys have questions about that stuff, we'll pop them in there. But I think that caring, right? Showing your employees, showing your players, right? Because I think it's stuff to transition to business as well, that you care about them. You're willing to give of yourself. I think that's one of the things that has shaped who we are as people and my family, is that we're going to give everything of ourselves. Guys need something, we're going to help them through it. We're going to help them through the tough times, help them through, the times they feel like the world is on their shoulders. We're going to take that weight off of them. The time they want to get something to eat, we're going to have them over, getting something to have them over for seafood boil or whatnot. My wife is from New Orleans, so she loves to cook it up. So you guys ever come up to the Bay Area when we get out of this whole COVID deal, take care of you guys with some good food. Come over to the house, sit down and connect a little bit. But that caring part, I think that caring is huge, that you got to show people that you're there for them, that you love them, you're ready to put your arms around them whenever they need. Some of the core tenets, for my group, ROB, that's what we call the group. I'm not going to break down what ROB is for you. You come in the room here, you'll find out what it is. But some of the core tenets I think that we talk about within our group, right? And this is a tough one, playing for one another. Playing for one another is tough when you come from a place of being the guy in a system, right? You're getting the football all the times, running back and whatnot, but understanding what play for one another is, and it's something that you got to grow into, even if you think you're already that guy, you think you have that mindset, there's ways to get to that. We talk about protecting the program. I'm not going to hit on a football part of protecting the program as much, but I will give you guys this, that we talk about one of the things within protecting the program. Okay, just one of the parts of it is the football is the program. Every time that ball is extended to you in a handoff, tossed to you, thrown to you, whatever it may be, however that ball gets to you, the program is in your hands, and you have to do any and everything in your power to protect it. And that means carrying the ball the right way. That means presenting that ball back to the official at the end of the play. That means that if it's a pass play and your responsibility is to block for the quarterback, well, if the quarterback has that program, you got to protect it. So we talk about the program. When we hold a football up to the group, we hold that football up, we're letting them know, hey, this is the program right here. This is it. And then playing with a purpose. We'll get into that a little bit later in this talk here about what that means and how that looks for us here at Cal. Okay, but we talk about playing for one another, right? Playing for others. One of the biggest things I think that you can show not only from yourself but explain and get across to your players is the accountability part. Being accountable for where you're supposed to be, how you're supposed to be, and the way that things are done. I think that's huge, and I think that the more you give it to these young men nowadays, right, they need to understand controlling their own destiny by the choices they make every day. And that is from how they'll be off the field and how they'll be on the field, right? They're in control of it. And I think that the more that they understand how they are in control of their own destiny, the better the product, the better the individual, right? I'm not going to say that the football X and O is always going to be exactly what you want to be. That's always a work in progress. But I think that them understanding that controlling their own destiny is something that's in their hands right there. You know, the way that they show up in the weight room with the intent, they're ready to work, right? The way that they show up for the practice field with the intent ready to work, right? The way that they engage the offensive line, the way that they engage the coaches in a meeting, right? The way that they play on special teams, and then the aptitude that they take into those meetings, right? That they're able to apply to the field. Those are the things that help them get to the field, which is why they become better teammates, right? When they simplify their life, when they don't have a bunch of extracurricular things, right? I heard someone say it just the other day. You got school, you got football, and you got partying, right? You get the social life, okay? All right? You can't be good at all three as a college football player. You can probably be good at two, right? You got to decide which two, you know, and simplifying your life and understanding that you're on a college campus for a reason doesn't mean you can't have social, but you can't be great at the social part of it. Oh, you can't be great at the TikToks. You can't be great at the Instagram videos and think you're gonna be a great student at the same time, right? Be a great football player at the same time. You got to simplify your life and do the little things the way you need them to be, because then it's gonna take care of the big picture, right? To be on time, you know, that's another piece to it, you know, but really looking at the controlling your destiny, right? Simplifying your life, okay? When you play for one another, right? Trust. You know, one of the things that myself and Coach McClure, our offensive line coach, talked about is developing a great trust between the O-line and the running back room, right? And one of the things that we've done to get our players to trust each other and trust our system, okay, is to do regular meetings together, right? So we do 2 days a week, we will do a voluntary meeting for the offensive line and the running backs, where we will install the run game and review the run game from practice the day before and talk about it. So the offensive line is hearing the exact coaching points that I'm giving the running backs about where we're trying to put it. The running backs are hearing the exact points that Coach McClure is telling the offensive line and what they're trying to do. Us trying to get everybody on the same page so that we know that when we step on the field, we're all in it together, right? We understand that, hey, those guys are going to block their butt off for us no matter what they can. We're going to run as hard as we can for them as well, right? And that builds that trust when you work together about it, right? That you give your guys the opportunity to trust the system when you're working together about it, you know? So I don't know if you guys are doing any of that stuff, but I would encourage you to do it, to put that in. And we're also, you know, on top of that, we do about a 30-minute walkthrough for blitz pickup as well. Okay, so we'll do that as a pre-practice structure as well, getting in there and just making sure that we're going through each and every blitz protection. And that way we get on the sideline. It's easy conversations about, oh, hey, this and that concept, right? This and that protection. Hey, we're supposed to respot this one, whatever it may be, right? But getting those guys to trust each other, that's that plan for one another, building that accountability and building that trust there, you know. But I think that part of your accountability and building that within your group, you know, comes from these things here. You know, you got to be able as a coach to go out and get the guys who want to play championship football. You know, they want to play at a high level. That to me doesn't matter what level in college you're at. You know, you want guys who want to be a part of something greater than themselves, but they also want to be champions, right? They want to push. And as a coach, you mold that championship, right? You mold who they are by the culture in your room, by those other standards that we'll continue to talk about. You know, you put those guys in a place to be champions. They all of them don't always understand what it takes, that sacrifice, right? But when you start in playing for others, right, and you hold guys accountable, then they start to fall in line with where you're going on that championship concourse, you know. But also I think that, you know, recruiting guys that want to graduate, like that's something that I will always do. You can go out and recruit guys who want to play in the NFL, and that's awesome. I want guys who want to graduate as well, because that's another achievement for them. They're not just one-sided that, hey, my goal is to play in the NFL. My goal is to start as a freshman. I want to graduate. That's something concrete. That's something tangible. Again, that's something that as an individual, I control, right? If I'm the player, I control that, right? I can control all the little things that I work to try to get myself to be a starter. I can work hard and hope that I get a chance to play in the NFL, that I've done enough. But I know that I can graduate. I know that if I do these courses this many times, right, this many courses each year, 12 per term, 12 per semester, 16 per semester, whatever it may be for your program, that you can graduate. So recruiting those guys who want those things, right, you're able to push the agenda, and they understand the accountability pieces that go into it, commitment, right? You talk about playing for one another. You got to be committed to each other. You got to be committed to each other, and you got to be observant. You got to see it. This is just a little piece I throw my running backs about it being a game of inches. The running backs who see the game, who see the game well, they see the inches. They know where to take those little cracks. They know where to take those little creases, but they also know that it's a big difference between, giving them the ball on 4th and 1 and having the quarterback sneak it. No, hey, we can find those inches. We can find those steps where we're observing. We see what's going on within the game, and the details, right? The details within it. That's a big piece of why we meet with our offensive line, why we meet on blitz pickup on the field with these guys. We want them to understand that there's more to it than just saying, hey, I got that linebacker, or hey, I'm getting the ball handed off to me. You understand the big picture of what's going on within a play, why that play is constructed a certain way, why it's developed the way it is, and this last part, be all in, you have to be all in as a coach in order to get those players all in. You want those guys to come out and practice hard. You better come out to practice hard yourself. You want those guys to be dialed in a meeting, and you want them to take great notes and all that stuff. All right, have that board ready for them to jot down great things. Give them the tools to do it. Make your meeting to where it's one that you're engaging those guys, right? I have a lot of fun in the meeting room using the Kahoots and using these other tools. But sometimes it's good just getting those guys up on the board and hearing them regurgitate what they've talked about. Finding ways to make sure they're all in as a coach is part of that thing. Not just telling them, hey, you got to be all into everything we're doing. Well, we got to grow them into that, right? We got to grow them into those things. Okay. Talked a little bit about this earlier within the position culture about controlling your own destiny. I think you can kind of sum that up with controlling your own destiny for me as a couple of these pieces here, right? Helping young people see things in themselves they are unable to see, right? They don't see themselves as a college graduate. You have to help them, right? You have to show them how they can get there. Give them examples of other people. Tell them things they've done positive in their life to get to that point, right? Help them see how great they can be. What you see, and when you recruit them, or if you're a high school coach, when you see them coming up from the youth levels, right? The things that you see in them, right? Paint that picture for them, but let them know that it's a process to get to it, right? There's a whole chain of reactions and steps and things that you need to do to get there. And if you can be great at helping them see that in themselves, you'll get a great product from the young man, right? You'll get everything you want from them. They'll give you their all, right? Everything they got inside of them, they'll give it to you. One of the things that I'm huge on, right, as well, is this next piece here. No excuses, right? There's no excuses. If my Zoom cuts out right now, that's not on anybody else but me, right? If something pops up here, that wasn't supposed to be in there, that's on me, right? No excuses. There's reasons, right? There's a reason things happen, okay? And then your reaction to it, but don't make an excuse. Oh, hey, damn, I overslept. Okay, that's why you're late, because you overslept. But what's your reaction? Is it to call coach immediately, or is it just to run in there a half hour late, or just don't show up, right? Hey, coach, I missed the bus. Why'd you miss the bus? I didn't set my alarm like you told me to. Okay, that's the reason. All right, what's your reaction to it? How are we getting there to get this thing done? We're not going to make excuses for things. We're not going to sit up. I tell guys all the time, if I got a question for you about something serious and your answer takes more than 20 seconds, you're probably full of it, right? Probably full of it. Back it up. Give me the cut and dry, right to the point. Let's go. Tell me what it is, right? Let's not make excuses. I don't need some long story. Get right to the point. Own that thing, right? And no complaining, right? Not into complaining. Don't want to hear complaining, right? Everybody has something tough in their life. Most people have it tougher than us, and especially here at University of California, there's a lot of people just in this world. They got a lot tougher. We ain't got to go too far to see people that got it tougher than us. So we ain't gonna complain about anything. We ain't complaining about our conditions. We ain't complaining about the gear we got. We ain't complaining about where we're staying, man. We got it pretty dang good. We got nothing to complain about. And if you feel like you got something to complain about, you might want to step yourself into a different room. And that's just it, and you're going to hear that across the board, not only from my room, but you're going to hear that across the board from other coaches in their rooms as well. We talk about, make sure I'm not missing any questions over here for you guys. I'm trying to look at this thing here. Okay. Nothing there. All right. So, talked about that kind of developing that team first mentality, right? That's that stuff we do with the offensive line. Okay, getting them, making sure that we're on the same page, because it's not just about the runners, it's not just about those lines, it's about the team, right? We put that stuff into place, but that has to be synonymous. One of the things that I encourage, right from the get-go, is that if guys want to play in our room, they better get on special teams. Why? Because that's about our team, right? That's about whatever, who cares what running play, what pass play is called, we're going to get involved with special teams to help our squad, help our team. That's one of the things that we push for guys to get involved with special teams. You're not on special teams, you're only thinking about yourself. You're only thinking about yourself. I don't know how many reps I got for you. I just don't. Leading by example, that's the old adage, hey, be the first in line, right? But lead by example is not just on the field, it's in the meeting room, right? In the meeting room, how are you leading the young guys? How are you leading the old guys? How are you able to, excuse me, how are you able to regurgitate or explain what coach says to one of the young guys who may have a question, offline, right? One of those guys who may have a question on the field, how are you able to be the example of how you sit up in a meeting room, how you react when you walk in there, how you engage with other coaches. It's a different way to do these things, and being able to show, right, the young and show the others how to do it is how we lead by example, not just being the first in line, right? There's a million ways outside of in between the lines that you can be an example, okay? Competition, right? Every year, you guys are seeing this across the board, be it high school, college, right? Kids are transferring left and right. A lot are transferring for reasons that, we won't even get into, but, some of them are transferring because of the competition. The competition is not what they want. They don't want to be in that spot, right? They don't want to go push to fight for the competition. They want it handed to them. We talk about guys embracing the competition, right? Embracing that moment, and when you say embrace the competition, it doesn't mean that, hey, I can't talk to the other guys I'm competing with 4 times. Embracing it means that you share thought, you share vision, you share aspect, you talk about nuances within plays, and then go at it and show, can you do that better the next person? Hey, I've given you everything that I have for the play. I've given you everything that I have for this concept, but I'm still going to do it better than you. You know what to do, and I'm still going to do it better than you, right? Same thing in the game. Hey, the defense is picking up our audibles. So what? Stop it. They got to line up. Stop us, right? At the end of the day, you embrace that moment, you embrace that competition, and that's protecting the program, right? When you're ready for those moments, when you embrace how to get better as a group, how to get better as a player by being competitive amongst each other, you're protecting the program. Your program is growing, right? And this one here, I got this from a coach that I worked with, Chris Peterson. Love this statement right here. The commitment over routine, right? Just because you go to practice, you go to meetings, you go to weights, right? You're doing all these things. That's part of your routine, right? You're showing up. You're checking the box off, right? Checking the box off. Yep, I'm here. Why aren't I playing, right? Well, when you protect the program, it's the commitment to it, okay? It's the commitment to showing up to the weight room with the right attitude. I'm there 15 minutes early so I can do my pre-stretching, my rolling out, okay? I can get my band work done, right? And now I'm going in and I'm making sure everybody else in my group is here ready to go as well, right? We're all there. We're all in, ready to go, right? When I step onto the practice field, okay, I finished out any meeting that I had with notes, with questions and things before we got there. So I'm not asking coach a bunch of questions during practice. Okay. I'm at home. I'm putting in the extra time. I got the iPad. I got the Thundercloud. I got all the stuff that I can watch. I got Huddle at home. I can watch more film. Okay. I see one of my teammates struggling with something off the field. I'm able to bring them under my wing and talk to them a little bit and get them to the necessary people on campus or to the necessary coaches to talk to them about what's going on. I'm committed to doing the extra. I'm committed to making the routine, right? I'm committed to making this routine something more than just something that I do on a daily basis. I'm taking it up a notch. I'm trying to do everything the best I can. We don't go through things in routine. We don't just show up and want, which is why you throw curveballs at these guys in different situations to see their level of commitment. All right, you'll find out real fast what guys are committed to it and what guys are just going through routine, but never confuse routine with commitment. A lot of guys, young men, I'll say, have a hard time understanding that because it's just what they do, right? They just go through a process. They go through, oh, hey, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be there. What'd you do in between those times? I just slept. Okay, that's your routine. We need a commitment. We need you to up the ante for what you're doing. A good friend of mine, another quick one, talks about commitment. So you guys probably heard this before, but Saga Tuateli, offensive line coach at Army, told me this one about about the chicken and the pig, right? The commitment for breakfast, okay? The chicken laid those eggs, boom, shot them out, get them in there, scramble them up, you got good eggs, all right? That pig made a commitment, right? The pig had to go to the slaughterhouse, go all in. There is no cut a little bit of the tail for some bacon. That pig is committed to it, right? All the way in. You get the chicken or the pig. Who's committed to breakfast. The chicken's just a part of the process. That bacon's making that full-out commitment. So, the last little piece of this leadership part, right, is the culture of extreme ownership. I'm not going to go into, the standards of because that's for your program, right? But I think this goes through with any program, regardless of high school, youth football, college, professional, business model, whatever it may be. Culture of extreme ownership. Players have to see their value and have to be committed and have ownership in what's going on. And that is across the program. They have to know it's their program and it's going to be what they make it. Coaches are stewards of opportunity and information, but it's going to be what the players want. The culture of extreme ownership is something that has to be rampant. The players have to believe and have to understand that they have complete ownership of the place to make it what they want. And I got a part of this culture of extreme ownership when I was at Cal Poly. It was 2017, going through the worst season of my coaching career. I think we went 1-10, right? Hard season. Really hard season, coming off of playoffs, whatnot the year before. It was a lot of ups and downs. And one of my good friends from high school, he sends me this audio book. Okay, it's by Jocko Willenick, Extreme Ownership as Taught to by the Navy SEALs. And it goes through a number of examples from warfare, but also in the business world. And the pitfalls that were happening within the military in their assignments. And this, again, was in wartime. And the same pitfalls within the business world had everything to do with people owning up to the faults and looking at how they were able to prepare the people around them and how they were able to get others to take ownership and be ready and responsible for their area. That was a huge piece for me. And it was not about the players weren't playing hard enough. The The calls weren't getting in on time. We weren't preparing them. It's like, no, it was me. I didn't do enough. I didn't do enough. And when something happens on the field or in the meeting room, I started with myself, and then it in turn gets the players to look at themselves as well, as opposed to wanting to point the finger to other people, right? When we can have ownership of good and bad, it allows them to have it as well. I don't want the praise, but when things ain't right, that's on me. I'll take that. Yep, I got that. You guys get the glory, and so you're able to grow with them, right? You're able to get them to problem solve when they have ownership in it. They're not just looking to point the finger or looking to jump ship, if you will. Okay. Another tenet for us, right? Doing work. Okay. That's one of our little breaks there, right? Do work, great work, right? You want to go in there, you want to work hard, right? Great work ethic, right? You want to go in and put everything you have into it. Okay. You want to be prepared. You want to have your body ready to go. You want to have your mind ready to go. The mental training is huge, fellas. The mental training that you do with the players is huge, be it from reading books, be it to using flashcards, being it to challenging them to think about things that are outside of their scope in the world, but training them to be stronger thinkers is huge. And when you put that into play, we talk about it in this. We talk about an intentional mindset, that when I step into that meeting room, my intent is to learn and have a better understanding of the script, of the playbook, of whatever coach sent me prior to the meeting. I'm going to get a better understanding. I'm going to have my mind locked into this. I'm not going to be thinking about anyone else. I'm not going to be on my phone trying to post pictures. I'm locked in. I'm intentional with everything that this information is about to come to me, right? Everything that's going on, I have an intent to learn, to get better, to utilize this information for me, okay? And from there, you take that mindset and put it into play. Deliberate actions. What are deliberate actions? The step, the same way every time it's supposed to be. Be on point with that step. I'm deliberate in how I'm doing this. Why? Because coach has told me why this step is important to this play, why this is crucial to this play. Okay? I'm deliberate in the way that I step onto the field. I'm not having to pull up my pants and this and that. I'm not getting sent back into the locker room because I'm not wearing right stuff. I'm deliberate in the intent and the action that I'm taking to go onto that field, right? I'm deliberate in the way that I do things. When you have an intentional mindset and an understanding of what you're learning, and you're deliberate in the way that you do it, you get the most out of yourself. And that's not just players, right? That's coaches as well. We try to take this mindset as us here as coaches as well, that we're deliberate in how we're doing things, right? We're not going to mince words, right? We're going to be deliberate in those hard conversations that we have with young men, okay? When a guy wants to know why he's not playing, I'm breaking out the tape and I'm showing him. I'm not, you show them. You're deliberate with it, and you're firm with them, and understand that if I shoot it to them straight, they may not like it, but they know where I'm coming from. They know that I'm honest with them, Okay. A little bit here. I'm going to skip this one here. I think this is something that I think that all of us strive for and all of us want to be a part of. We talked about it a little bit when in the compete part, but I want to get to these next ones here. I think that these are really things that fall in line with who we are when we talk about what we're doing, right? We're going to play with a purpose here, right? Okay, we're going to play tough. That doesn't mean that I'm the big knockout artist. I'm hitting everybody. I'm putting people on their butt, right? No, it just means that I'm going to determine the way a play finishes, be it as a blocker, be it as a ball carrier. Okay, I'm going to determine the way it ends. I'm going to determine if I got proper ball leverage. Okay, I'm going to determine if it's a 2-minute scenario and I have to get out of bounds, or is it a scenario that I can cut back, or that I got to finish to get the first down. I'm going to determine the way that play ends. That's toughness. At every play, you decide how the play ends, not the opponent. You decide how the play ends, and you'll see that, right? You'll see that from guys. Well, guys who have that mindset, you see it on tape for them. Okay, want to be a hard runner here. Running back here, you want to be a hard runner. Okay, again, that does not mean that you run everybody over. That does not mean that. What it means is that people think twice before they want to step in front of you. They think twice because you're coming downhill. And you don't have to be 6'2", 6'3" as a runner. You ain't got to be Eddie George, right? You ain't got to be Derrick Henry, okay? All right? Hard runners come in every same size, but it's the pace that you play at. And then as that hard runner, you determine the way the play finishes, okay? Talked about that mindset already a little bit, okay? All right? I want to jump ahead to this part here. Persistent and consistent. You keep doing it. You keep doing it. Every single time you're there, you're there, you're there, you're going, right? Coach can count on you. Your teammates can count on you to continue to do the little stuff right each and every rep that you get out there, okay? All right, last little piece here has to do with your opportunity and what you have in front of you, okay? Tell guys this all the time. Don't wait for an opportunity, create it, right? Create it. How do you create that opportunity? Well, get out of your comfort zone, okay? Get out of where you feel you're in a good space at, right? Push yourself to do something different. Push yourself to go the extra mile. Push yourself to get back out there and take some more reps in that drill. Push yourself to think how a quarterback thinks about a play. Push yourself to think about how an offensive lineman thinks about a play. Not just as, hey, how do I get the ball and run with it, right? Get out of your comfort zone. You will experience growth getting out of that comfort zone. You stay in a comfortable place as a coach, as a player, as a parent, you're not going to grow. And the people around you won't grow. The people that you have influence over won't grow. You know, I challenge myself a lot as a parent to continue to make sure I'm giving my kids hugs all the time, right? Let them know I love them, you know. Didn't do a ton of that when I was a kid, right? Growing up, didn't hear I knew it was love there, right? But telling them how much I love them and putting my arms around them. And the same thing with my players here, right? Letting them know, hey, it's all love. Everything I do is out of love for them. I tell them, we finish every conversation with it's all love, a handshake and a hug, right? It's always love. Get out of that, oh, we're football guys, we have to be this way. No, you let those guys know you love them, that we care for them, and everything we do is for their benefit, which is going to push them to get out of that comfort zone. It's going to push them to open up themselves, right? One of the things that we do here, and I've done this since I've been in coaching, is that we do a little thing called story, right? So every year we start off fall camp with getting out of our comfort zone. I start with myself talking about my upbringing, about my family, about hardships that I faced in life. And a lot of these conversations that we have in them, we're pouring our emotion out, right? It becomes emotional. You get guys crying, you know, you get coach crying, right? You're talking about some things that have been really, you know, really instrumental in your life or things that have been hard in your life. And when you get out of that comfort zone and you put down that guard to them, you know, it gives them a chance to say, okay, hey, I can give up myself. I can get out of my comfort zone. And now you crack that shell that everybody has of that macho, you know, that bravado that we all walk around with. That's down. And now let's grow, right? Now let's grow together, you know, kind of build it from there. So that's the piece, man, you know, that I think that really solidifies what we're trying to do and how we started off, and kind of went backwards with it, and maybe should have started with this part about getting those guys out of the comfort zone, and that's an initial aiming point for your culture in your room, you know. But I think when you sum it up, if you get guys out of that comfort zone and you push them to be the best they can, right? You don't confuse that commitment, or excuse me, that routine with that commitment, you know, you end up in a good place.
Thanks again for listening to the Coaching Coordinator Podcast. A reminder to go to lfgf2022.coachesclinic.com to register for Lawrence First and Goal Clinic, which is March 3rd through the 5th. Again, another outstanding lineup of college and NFL coaches who are donating their presentations and their time to a great cause. Again, go to lfgf2022.coachesclinic.com. The link to this entire clinic from Artistotle Thompson can be found in the show notes, as well as links to our running back playlist and other related content.